Good afternoon, Dr. Seetharaman.
Good afternoon.
On Doha Bank's Knowledge Management Forum today, we would like to start our discussion with the IMF Spring Meeting, which concluded yesterday. Could you tell us about the developments in relation to the GCC economies?
First of all, the global growth has been prolific. It should be in the range of 3.6%. Next year, it is likely to go up to 3.9%. That's a good sign. It also goes to show that advanced economies are recovering from 2.2 to 2.5%. If America is recovering, Euro is recovering, UK is also recovering. BRIC is in the back foot because Brazil is slowed down. Their fiscal consolidation is an issue, and again, Russia, with the Cold War emanating, their forecast has been on the downward trend. If you look at a bigger picture, MENA should be doing reasonably well, between 3.5 to 4%. That's the forecast we have. It's interesting. And GCC economies, if I have to give the split, they should be doing 1,700,000,000,000. Let's look at the split. 2014, 15, 16, all in the ascending trail. GCC economies should move from 3.5, again, next year is 3%. The year thereafter, 2016, it should do 3.5% again, 3.5 to 3.6%. 1,700,000,000,000 should move to 1,750. That is 1.1 trillion, again 750 billion next year, and thereafter 1,809,000,000,000. That's huge. Now, the growth apart, the current account surplus is very interesting. It is 18, 16 and 14% is the current account as a percentage of GDP. That's significant. Which part of the world we can say that's a level of current account surplus? If you analyze the breakdowns, Saudi Arabia is topping the list with 743 billion, and again the UAE is the second largest economy, 414 billion. Qatar comes third, 214 billion. Oman comes 89 billion. Kuwait comes 185 billion. Bahrain comes 33 billion. That's a huge order, and all these economies are likely to run in current account surplus. That's interesting to note.
Could you tell us about the expectations for Qatar's economy?
Qatar economy 213.8 billion this year. Next year it should move to 225 billion, and thereafter 239 billion. Now, GDP apart, the growth will be 5.9% this year, and it should move in precise terms 7% and 7.1% the year after. As a surplus, if you look at 53 billion and again 46 billion, 35 billion, that's the level of surplus we are talking about, which is over 20%. When it comes to per capita income, the population is going to grow, only limited to 2.2 this year, 2.4 next year, the year after 2.6 million people. It means per capita will be not less than $90,000, 96,000 precise this year, and 94,000, 3,000 plus will be for next year. Now, the inflation is under control, 3.5%, 3.5% and 3.6%. That's very moderate looking at the overall economic momentum. As a whole, it's steady and stable, financially moving economy.
Now we would like to move on to Doha Bank's knowledge sharing session on opportunities and challenges in projects in Qatar, to be held tomorrow. Could you tell us more about this conference?
Well, the projects in the GCC itself is quite significant, 473 billion. Topping in the list is Saudi Arabia with 173 billion, and Qatar should be 72 billion, and again Kuwait should be 72 billion, UAE should do 85 billion, and 85.6 billion is Oman. Bahrain will be 26 billion. Summing it up, you will have a significant portion of the current fiscal turnout. Now, we are doing a seminar to showcase Qatar itself. Within the definition of 72 billion, we have a very interesting split. The contracting sector should do 8.7 billion, petrochemical should do 7.7, Transport should do 39.9. Again, if you look at education, healthcare, infrastructure, over 74% of the 74 billion, that is over 50% of the budget allocation has gone into the infrastructure side. And that's going to be a bigger opportunity for the market to capture. Now, within the sector, as I said, oil and gas is going to be minimum 3.2 billion for oil, and gas will be 0.7. When it comes to power and water, they're going to play a bigger role. 9.7% for water, power will be in the range of 7.7. So that's the level of opportunities we're going to create. That's what the reason why we want to organize a seminar, the projects and contracts. What are the opportunities? What are the challenges? So we have called in experts in the field. Apart from Doha Bank hosting and delivering the final value to our relationship, we have project management experts, Easy Harris, that is a speaker who is going to profoundly showcase the project management's requirement for contract management. And again, Ashghal, the Public Work Authority here, they will be presenting the futuristic options they have. And then comes the legal aspects. When it comes to legal framework, we need to know what are the dispute resolutions. While we want to understand the risk management principles in terms of contract financing or project methodology, we also have to understand the issues involved in the legal framework, for which we are called eversheds. They come for dispute resolutions, and also they're showcasing the obligations, right, and responsibilities of the contractors, subcontractors, project owners, and again, when it comes to financial institutions, how do you finance for all this, and what are the technical disputes that can emanate when it comes to project settlements or measuring of the project status, and how do we interpret them, and what sort of precautionary measures required from a legal risk perspective. That's the approach. We are also calling experts, Big Five accountants, to showcase the forensic part of the accounting backdrop, how exactly we should look at it when the project gets into commercial disorder. So this is a coin which we want to manifest to the customers.
Could you tell us more about the contract financing opportunities in Qatar?
Contract financing opportunities are many. The government budget itself is a major drive. If you look at 75 billion, total 218 billion, almost $60 billion is the government expenditure. And the majority of them goes in order when it comes to healthcare and education. Education plays a big role, and 26 billion goes for education, 15.5 billion goes for healthcare, 3.3 billion goes for senior citizens housing. If you look at the stadiums, out of the 8 stadiums, 7 are going to be constructed this year, which includes the airport stadiums, Lusail stadiums, Wakra stadiums, Khalifa stadiums, and again the Qatar Foundation Stadium, etc. So those are bigger opportunities for contractors to grab. We also have a major drive on power, chemicals, water, and again healthcare and educational institutions built up. So there's tremendous amount of opportunities within the overall fiscal government expenditure, which is going to drive the change.
What would you say are the financial indicators to be considered in contract financing?
We have given so far 23 billion in the market, which is significant in terms of banks' capacity to lend for the local market. That's a considerable exposure when it comes to banking sector. And last year, 41% growth in the contract financing sector. And that's precisely the reason we should note who are the project owners, who are the contractors, what is their capacity to administer, what is their cash flow, what's their liquidity strength, what is their balance sheet strength, do they have prior experience, what are the various hurdles the contractors and subcontractors are going through, what are the dispute resolution methods, do you have a mechanism to have intertwining all these stakeholders when it comes to execution. If there is a stagnation, how the government mechanism is going to interpret these changes, how exactly this is going to be designed to deliver the end results, quick disposal of the disputes, and also completion of projects without cost escalation on time.
Could you tell us more about the non-financial indicators in contract financing?
Non-financial indicators are very many. The issues relating to measurable performance are one aspect. Quality-driven backdrop, history, transaction history, it needs to be measured. Project management skills needs to be measured. And again, the structure of the deal needs to be measured. Joint risk participations for financiers needs to be measured. These are non-financials, but but conceptually, these designing these variables is very, very important for us to take it forward.
Thank you, Dr. Seetharaman.
My pleasure.